Listeners, I have big news. We just launched our website, themoreyouknoco.com. One of my favorite things about the website is the Connect with Our Guests page. Find our website and browse the photos. We have pictures of all of our featured guests from the show. Better yet, you can access their website and learn more about them or even connect with them. Discover and interact with the people in our community. They are right here in our home neighborhoods, and that is what is so cool about this podcast. That's themoreyouknoco.com. Feel free to browse the rest of the website. You never know what you might find. Now, listener, on to today's episode. Welcome to The More You Know Co., Northern Colorado's podcast bringing curiosity and community connection to you, the listener, one conversation at a time. I am your host, Ivan Wayne. Let's go. You know, I'm going to sound like a parable here, but it's true. We often get more back when we give to others. When it comes to advice and helping one another for ideas, today's guest created an entity in Fort Collins to bring together entrepreneurs willing to give more than they take. Our guest had a tough and winding story leading him to this idea he now leads. I'll let him tell you his struggle, his triumph, and ultimately what he finds most valuable now. Here he is, Kurt Baer of NoCo Think Tank. So, formal introduction. Now, I sit here with Kurt Baer. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, Kurt Baer.
And you'd say owner?
Founder, yeah.
Of NoCo Think Tank.
Yes.
So, for those at home, in the car, wherever they happen to be, hopefully listening in an appropriate time and place.
Right.
What is NoCo Think Tank?
NoCo Think Tank is a series now of small business owner peer advisory groups, and they have the distinction of being facilitated by a retired give back mindset small business succeeder, somebody that's got a strong record of achievement, could be retired, but they become the minder of a chapter of a dozen members of small business owners that are experience a board of directors like experience once a month with each other.
Yeah. And so I have a ton of questions about your style.
A lot to unpack in a short amount of time.
Because it's fascinating. So what I saw from your website is that in each session there's one facilitator.
That's right.
And what does it take to be a facilitator?
We've got a list of characteristics, but generally speaking, it's somebody that's had a successful business journey or two or three. They're passionate about business. They've got enough wealth to be retired if they want to be, but they don't necessarily want to be fully retired. You can only golf so much, travel so much. What is my purpose? A lot of our facilitators feel. And so there are people that have had that business journey that maybe sold the business, and then what? And so we provide them with a 20 hours a month kind of role of having 1 4-hour meeting and then meeting for an hour or 90 minutes with most of their members most months in a mentorship, not really quite coaching. And they're the facilitator of learning. They're not the leader or the teacher. And so it's kind of a light yoke that they enjoy, just being the person who's in charge of running efficient meetings.
Yeah. And so what is this meeting when everyone is in the same room?
Sure.
What is the goal?
What do we do?
Yeah.
Our main service is issue processing. But I'll get to that in a moment. Maybe if I just do a quick agenda kind of overview. Okay. It's kind of the same agenda over and over in many respects. So we'll do a check-in for 40 minutes or so. Every member gets 3 or 4 minutes, depending on the size of the group. Just how's my kids? We say we're 2 parts business, 1 part personal. So the chapters will check in on a 10-point scale. How's your business? On a 10-point scale, how's your person? And give you some reference point. If somebody checks in with a 4, they might need some extra attention from the group that month. From there, we roll into a focused member presentation where they basically have 30 minutes to try to pull back the curtain on how my business works. Here's my financial overview, here's my organizational chart, here's my key product segments, things like that. And here's the people that I have on my team, the resources I have available, here's how much profit or loss I've been making, really just to inform. And then they get another 30 minutes to process an issue. Should I fire my sales manager? Should I acquire this smaller business? Should I, whatever their question is that's keeping them up at night, or they're expecting to start keeping them up at night if they don't get the answer figured out soon. My assistant left. Where am I going to find my next executive assistant that is as good as this person that just left? Or for me, in my case, what should my intern skill set be like?
Yeah.
Like knowing how much you guys know about me. What are the things I need to do kind of for my business? You're my members anyway. So all kinds of questions. And so that's the issue processing. And then we run that a couple more times for at-large issues. And the balance of the time is occasionally we have topical speakers on HR best practices or tax law changes or whatever. And then just goal check-ins and things like that.
So there's one facilitator, 12 thinkers.
12 thinkers.
So the role of the thinker is to be the people who generate advice, come up with ideas,
correct,
support one another.
Correct. And I'm the mixologist.
Okay.
So I'm building an intentionally diverse group, both in their politic, and sharing of ideas and perspectives. So, that place where all ideas are valid, they might not all be equally right or well informed, but your right to share is open here. But then also like getting a couple people that are really good at marketing or training or hiring or culture building or, visionary and a couple of engineers, but can't have 5 engineers because that would be like, shoot me now. Nobody would ever want to join.
Yeah.
So just getting that diverse mix of people with different talents. And so they come and bring their membership dues and their talent to the conversation and share it freely.
Do you think this cross-pollination brings people value they wouldn't find elsewhere?
All kinds of times, yeah. Industries even, like industry think, where they always just do things the way they do it because that's the way they do it. And so you might have a retailer in there going, you don't need to stock it that far in advance. You can get this, whatever. Or whatever that answer is. It's because they get to know each other's businesses because our oldest group is 5 years old last month.
Wow.
So we've started more and more recently, but that oldest group, a lot of the members are still there since the beginning. And so they get to know each other quite well. Strengths, weaknesses, gap areas, and just help each other see questions more clearly.
Yeah. Do you ever mix up members of the group, like as some may drop, or do you feel like there's power in keeping it consistent?
That's a question we're actually kind of struggling with. We had a chapter transfer request this year, which was interesting, and because it's taking from one group and giving to another or whatever. We try to be we don't have any contracts or anything like that. So whatever's best for the member is definitely the culture that we've developed, but we haven't really developed our policy around that. And we kind of need to.
Well, there's no shame. I mean,
you're address the problems
and changing.
Yeah, just in time planning. Yeah,
I feel like a business
or
like
just
this,
after too late planning sometimes.
Right. I feel like it would be a dirtier secret if a business like this that promotes ideas and creativity and thinking was not willing to change.
Yeah, if we said we had it all figured out.
Yeah,
and that's kind of like adverse to our culture. We don't have the answers to your questions. We have the process by which to seek the answers, basically with the Socratic method. Put your ideas out here. Get clarifying questions before you give suggestions. That's really the heart of our issue processing method, is put the topic out there with a bunch of background, invite clarifying questions from the group and answer them honestly without getting defensive or making excuses. And then after you've received suggestions from the group and feedback, then you tell the group what you're going to do.
Right.
So it's still your journey. You're still the one navigating, but you've got, sometimes 8 out of 10 people are like, yeah, you definitely need to fire her. And we like people and things as business owners, but you're a steward of the business. And so if she needs to go, she needs to go. And so that's how we justify our membership dues, is better decisions faster. If somebody's holding you back in your business as you're building it, a staff person typically, that's how you build a business, is attract people to your tribe that believe in what you're doing, ultimately, that you can pay fair wage to and whatever. Once they're not in your tribe, they should be off the boat. So to speak, out of the canoe, I guess, as it were.
Right. And good ideas bring in revenue. They make money and they make profit. And so, there's membership dues, there's membership fees, whatever. But if the value of the group outweighs that, then this is a win-win for everyone.
Yeah.
And not only is it ideas immediate in the moment, but I just feel like interacting with 11 other people who are as passionate about creating solutions, and you get 11 other people, it's kind of like coming to me as almost like a business support group as well. Like, because
we say that
being in entrepreneurship can be a lonely summit.
That is very in tune with our we say, so it's LoCo, local community think tank, but it's also make you crazy if you don't talk to somebody, and make your spouse crazy if you ask them one more time what you should do. They're like, I don't know. Yeah. Make more money. I know that. The grocery budget could use a little extra.
Yeah.
But we say kind of teasingly a little bit, not a support group. It's an excellence manufacturing center.
Okay.
So there's not a place to cry in your soup, but it is a place to have people that understand the journey you've been going through, having, we say, perspective and accountability and encouragement. Is really the three pillars of what membership brings. Because wherever you're at, your perspective is like through these binoculars, and you see only what you see, and it's hard to get out of your own perspective.
Right. And so this may open that. And so we talked about the requirements for a facilitator, what they might be like, but are there desirable traits for your thinkers as well?
There are. Most of them have between 5 and 35 employees. In our current groups, we're actually launching a group for Next Level. So NoCo Next Level is going to be our second product, and that'll be more for the 5 million revenues and over demographic. But all 5 of our chapters right now are kind of that 5 to 35 employees. They've got their business built up enough so that they've got enough time to get away to learn how to be a better leader. They're going through that navigation of managing managers. And so, their frontline employees can't hear their voice quite as well as they could in the early days and stuff. They got to get better at their financial understanding so that they can make better decisions faster on that front. And most of us aren't really good at everything. And so just seeing yourself clearly, we've got little tools for kind of self-evaluation. Okay, where is my business health right now? Where do I need to invest more effort or make the strong area get even stronger?
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of small business owners, entrepreneurs in the area tune into the show. And if they're sitting there thinking, calculating, might this be for me?
Yeah.
Where would you put the mindset for someone when, you think that they're ready for this type of group?
A couple things, I think, to start, go to our website and just give it a good look over, see if our culture seems to be kind of your culture, our mission, vision, values, things like that. Also, there's a video on there, and there's other videos on YouTube about some of those things, what we feel, who we are. But it's people that, they're already successful, is kind of describes a lot of our members. They already have some special talent.
But that didn't stop them.
Right.
Because if they had already, quote unquote, made it,
right.
they wouldn't be asking for 11 other people.
Right. And it's people that recognize that 10 brains are better than one. After as many meetings as I've done now, when I'm meeting with somebody to talk about a challenge in business, and I've seen a lot of questions processed, so I'm starting to own the fact that I have a lot of experience. I might not be that smart, but I have a lot of experience. But I still feel incapable at a lot of times of seeing it from enough perspectives to really inform. I'm like, I wish we had at least 4 more people here. To process this question a little deeper than I'm able to do with just kind of my whatever dropout banker perspective is or whatever.
Do the groups ever mix with one another? Because I was kind of thinking maybe you're in group 6, or I don't know if they have names or whatever.
Well, they do, yeah. Original Thinkers and Thinkers 2.
Right.
Think Again.
Okay, I like
and,
this.
The Thinkineers, and the Loveland chapter is Love to Think.
Oh, I like it. So are you ever in the middle of those meetings and the group conversations and you think, I know who should be here?
And we make connections between the groups. We're really actually just now investing in, we're going to do a once monthly NoCo social where members of all the groups and their friends that have businesses that might be interested but don't need the direct sales call from Kurt Bear can come and check it out, and we're doing a NoCo running club and a NoCo book club.
Oh, there it is.
Because our member survey from last fall really informed the fact that they want to connect more. They love their group in that safe place, and they don't really want to transfer a lot because that always means accepting new people into this confidential forum. And, the more times you ask me to invite somebody new, it's just not as easy, we'll say. So they do want to get to know each other between the groups and stuff. And so we're just kind of, basically, we've been working on it, and we're just kind of now releasing okay, here's what we think would be good ways for you guys to connect. Let's test this out for a few months, and if you like it, we'll keep doing it. If you don't, then we'll not do it anymore, because we're not about doing, I'm a farm kid. So if you find out things aren't useful or productive, you just stop doing them.
Right, trial and error.
When the chickens get old enough, they only lay 1 egg a week. Well, then it's broth.
I see.
So you can't have you got to invest where things are productive.
Right, keep throwing it against
the wall. But I think
wall.
they'll love it. Yeah, exactly.
See
fail
sticks.
Forward, right? And yeah.
Yeah. Now, I do want to give you a shout out that you don't know is coming. So we did not talk about this ahead of time. But you had just mentioned that you used the phrase failed banker. And I wanted to point out that from your website before Dropout.
Yeah,
okay.
Anyway,
to direct quote, yes, I don't want to misrepresent any ideas here. You openly talk about your struggle with your previous time in the financial sector, openly, in a way, because, okay, a lot of times when people start businesses or if they're involved in a thing like this, like they've turned a new leaf, essentially, they'll tell you the golden story. They'll tell you the happy ending when it gets there. But your story on your website did not have a happy ending. It ends in, I'm still figuring it out. And I think that type of honesty is powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, so what was your journey to get here to this place?
Well, there's actually, so peer advisory is our greater industry. And this is just a quick sidebar, but I'm good at that. But there's a peer group like ours that has a number of chapters. You have to have failed at 3 businesses before you can apply.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And but you have to have a good enough business now that we accept you into this group.
So 3 failures.
3 failures.
But now you're doing okay.
Yeah. So the story from here to there was really, I left banking in the fall of 2013 to pursue a restaurant venture.
So you were there in banking for 15 years.
Yeah.
Is that what you thought you wanted to do? Did you fall into that?
No, I always thought of it as I'll work in banking for 5 or 10 years until I have a bunch of money saved up and a great business idea. My dad's a farmer that started his own farm, and I was an economics background. I just didn't, I knew without a pile of money and a good idea, it wouldn't be a successful business. I did enough banking. I learned enough about it to yeah, exactly.
And you're heralded from?
Well, from near Jamestown, North Dakota is where I'm from.
And how'd you end up in Fort Collins?
I decided I was going to go to a grad school. MBA at CU was very popular at that time. But I didn't have any money or connections. And this bank called Community First National, based out of Fargo, where I went to college at North Dakota State, I had just acquired 23 banks in Colorado. And I got into a credit and management training program with them. 6 months classroom, 1 year in southern Minnesota. Shout out to Worthington.
There it is.
And then
all our fans in Worthington.
And then really took the first, I got turned down, actually. I was the second choice for the Fort Collins Bank, which was the same thing to me as Fort Morgan. I'd never seen any of it out here. Grand Junction was the other place. And before I could fly out to Fort Morgan, or fly to get to Fort Morgan, the Fort Collins guy called me back and said, hey, this is a longer story, but hey, the guy we offered the job to turned it down, and do you still want the job? And so I showed up here with my U-Haul and my car, and within a couple of months I met my future wife. We were friends for a year and lost touch for a year, and then started dating later. And that's 16 years. Shout out to Jill. Hi, Jill. Love you.
Still supporting.
Yeah.
Still hearing business ideas.
Jill's been awesome. So the failing, that's what the juicy part is here. But so Jill actually makes like 3 times as much income as she did when I left my banking job. And my first failure is actually still kind of alive, but Bear Capital Advisors helped businesses figure out where to get money. If they were getting turned down by banks, I could help them with their business plan and talk to the right banker, have a more compelling story. And I helped a few people, but it was tough work. And I was just really biding my time until I could get my restaurant going. But then I didn't get any of my locations that I thought I would do a restaurant in, and got the food truck going in the spring of 14 instead, June. It was hard.
Yeah, and you had wanted to do this restaurant idea for a while.
Yeah, it had been kind of a long time dream.
The word dream was put out there.
I suppose so, yeah. And, I know myself so much better now that I'm so glad that I don't have a restaurant and a big restaurant mortgage to go with it.
Why do you say that?
Well, a restaurant oftentimes owns its owner more than the owner owns the restaurant. And they just, employees are tough. Restaurants are tough, man. And you're married to it, and I want to travel the world and be freer than that. the restaurant would have ever allowed me to be. So, I'm a person of attempted faith, or usually faith, and I think God got me out of that place with a dream of a restaurant, and I love food, and now I just do that in a different way. We have dinner parties and things like that.
That's right. You get to cook one-off meals,
right? And that was part of it.
Restaurant.
So that's part of. So the think tank actually helps inform that story. But in June of 2015, I was like, I had grown from the second year we did about a little over 100,000 in revenue. The first year, like 35, and did all kinds of events. Did a pretty good job, if I do say so. I had a lot of followers.
What type of food trailer was it?
It was like we did it for catering mostly. But it was international influenced, locally sourced Americana. So anything from Mexican flavored pulled pork sliders, so carnitas sliders, to we had a line of meatball sliders, but also just excellent locally sourced ground beef burgers. I had some people that were like, your burgers are the best. And my husband eats cheeseburgers everywhere we go, and we've never had burgers like that. We did the Bacon Ate Her.
Oh, okay.
A little dig on whatever, Wendy's or somebody, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we did bacon sausage. So we got bacon mixed with pork sausage and made into a patty, and then we would do a patty that we griddle. Because you can't be cooking bacon on your food truck. You're going to have like a bacon fire, right? And you could put already cooked stuff, but this just became like this crispy edge bacon flavored patty on top of the burger, and with cheddar and whatever else, and it was so good.
Now, the Bacon Ate Her was not a play on the dark side of pigs, right? Where if you fall in and you're unconscious, pigs will begin to
eat you. Yes,
yeah, very quickly too.
Hog you off is what one of my old friends that used to have a pig farm said. Bear, you get out of line here, we'll whack you in the head and hog you off.
Okay.
Nobody ever find your body. He was a good friend, but just a little scary.
Okay. So
the food truck. Sorry, I'm dominating the conversation, but
that's what we're here for.
The food truck. The question I asked to the group the second year was, I'm working my tail off, making no money hardly. Should I buy another food trailer so I can scale up on this disaster? And they ask questions like, how do you like making the same kind of food over and over and over again? And how do you like always working when your friends have time off and always having time off when your friends are working? And what was the last one? How do you like not having any time or money for all of the philanthropic pursuits that have always been such a big part of your life? And, the answers to those questions, I'm tearing up right now just remembering it, because it was hard. Men especially are ill-equipped to accept humility over, discretion is the better part of valor, or whatever they say, right? Yeah. And so then that's how process. So we ask the questions like that, get the answers, and then give the suggestions from there.
So you were in a think tank.
I was in a think tank. I created it for me.
Oh.
I created it before I started the food truck business to help me figure out how to start a restaurant, which became a food trailer.
You literally built what you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. And I needed an affordable peer advisory experience that I didn't have to facilitate, but that I could recruit the membership for, because I have a great eye for talent.
Yeah. So you were getting people's advice for your food trailer business, and then how did you turn that into this?
So the first suggestion on the wall, by that time I had started a second think tank already, because there was just demand for it. So I had built a second group, and the first suggestion was Bear from shout out to Scott Jennings, my landlord, Chiba Hut founder.
Okay, there we go.
Scott says, Bear, you need to park that freaking trailer in your backyard and go get a job. And he was 100% right. I was going to be broke or crazy or both if it took 2 more seasons of that. It was just too hard for no money. I had been a pampered banker for most of my career, even though I was a farm kid and we had a good product. I just didn't want to be where I was pointing. My boat was sailing to an island that I didn't want to inhabit, even if I was successful in getting there. But there was a lot of rocks. So, and that's the second part of the suggestion. And get a job that's flexible enough that you can work on local think tank, because that's clearly your passion. It's useful. It's way more scalable. And the world isn't going to die without an extra food trailer. Park that thing. Go get a job. So that's an example of the perspective. I was just, so blind, so committed to success and not having failure really even be an option. So that was failed business number 2. So then I looked at trying to go full-time local, but it was just too small. I made like $500 per chapter at that time because I give about 40% of the revenues of the memberships to the facilitators. And so they get paid for based on the work that they do with however many members.
That's
so I
nice.
just got to keep, more than 5 members to break even or whatever, and then it's fine. So I got into the financial services business with Thrivent Financial. Did some investigation, a lot of interviews of different routes into that service industry, and resonated with their, what do they say, helping our members be wise with money so that they can live generously. That's a big part of kind of my driving things. Is I've been blessed a lot, and so I have to give back a lot, and provide a lot to my community if I can do it.
Right.
So
and that's still built into local think tank, because what I heard you say from the thinkers is that I don't show up to this session for everyone to generate ideas from me. You're giving 11 times more than you're taking.
For sure, and everybody is.
Yeah.
And that's part of why they love it so much, is that they get to share things that they've learned and help other people too. So you get somebody that really gets a handle on accounts receivable management or this or that, or digital marketing tricks and tracks or whatever. And they'd be like, here you guys, I got this thing, it works, or whatever that happens to be, a great attorney or CPA resource or whatever those resources. And people really only find a lot of value in helping other people. Like that's kind of the main thing. Like money is good for what good things you can do with it to help people, I guess, right?
Right. It's not good for its own sake.
It's
Money,
it's just a tool that does things.
Right.
Some of those things can be good. Some of them can be, built on pride or sloth or greed or envy, whatever. But whatever, where your money is, there your heart is too, right? Or whatever.
Right. So you were at Thrive Financial?
2 years. First year I was first in the region. Second year I confessed to my think tank chapter that I really didn't want to manage anybody's money. I wanted to just be a think tank guy. And because I was kind of intent on doing both. I was like, I can keep think tank more affordable and get more members and keep the price low because I can subsidize it with Thrivent income, because my members will buy life insurance from me and do retirement accounts and refer me people. But they saw through me. They knew I didn't have passion for being that financial advisor. And I'm hard at asking people to be my customers. I kind of just tell them about something, and then if they seem pretty interested, I just kind of probably working on that. But anyhow, so after 2 years in Thrive, and the second year was definitely a failure. And then last January we launched Think Tank 4, and March we launched Think Tank 5, the first one in Loveland. And so now we're kind of filling out all of our 5 think tanks. And as I mentioned before, like getting ready to launch the NoCo Next Level, soon to be followed later this year, hopefully the fall, with our first Builders chapter.
Oh, okay.
So some of our thinker members want to do this facilitation thing and help the smaller businesses get to where they are now, and so they'll be the facilitators for these Builder chapters. So we'll have the Builders, thinkers, and the Next Level.
Yeah. I'm glad people got to hear your story, and I learned a lot too, because it was fascinating to me that you built this think tank idea, this group, and it ended up benefiting you real time. And this was, I'm not going to use the word accident, because this idea is carefully crafted, but it worked for you in a way you didn't even expect. And that maybe could be said for any thinkers that come into your door now.
I could tell so many stories. We need another half an hour.
Right.
But it's been, I feel super grateful for the opportunity to be right here now, and hope I can just make some more good decisions along the way and help us do this more.
Yeah. So if any listeners are like, I'm super interested, I think I want to meet Kurt and ask out all about this, where should we have them reach out to you?
A great place is just to contact us through the website. You can also call our office here, 970-698-6977. And that's really easy. But through the website, you can connect. Or if you're a thinker, you've evaluate yourself, you can apply online and book time with me using a little Calendly trick.
Okay.
It just looks at my calendar, and you book a 30-minute meeting with me.
Nice. And you all have a series of YouTube videos that people can learn more about as well.
Yep, we've got some of those already out there. More are coming out every week.
Okay.
So,
well,
thanks.
Kurt, thank you very much for your time.
Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
This was fun.
Yeah.
If you enjoy The More You Know Co., please check out our other episodes. We've had such a variety of interesting and awesome people, you never know what you're going to find. I've been in awe and wonder going on this journey around northern Colorado. Read the episode descriptions, take a shot, and discover our NoCo community. Trevor Fossey, always putting in the time to edit and mix these episodes. Thank you so much for your dedication and hard work. Russell Isaac Long, our guest on episode 67 of the show, makes all our music here at the NoCo. Thank you, good sir. We are on Facebook and Instagram if you're interested in staying connected with us, or just to see bonus visual content in addition to this very audio-driven podcast experience. We will be back soon with another conversation, exploring and connecting the people who make up Northern Colorado. Until next time, peace!